A kid forced into adulthood so fast, confused repression for maturity. That's a key piece of info, regardless of if it's tied to the characters or not. I'm gonna be real, the one thought that came to mind in this section of the video was the death of innocence. Which in and of itself is pretty much the murder of innocence. Could have slipped it off, could have taken the time to really make sure it was clear and thorough. But no. He killed that innocence in order to maintain his facade. That's gonna live with him for the rest of his life. However long that is as a fictional character. Probably will outlive me. Now ain't that fucked up? A demon being the one to show parental love to an undergrown child stuck in an overgrown body. Fitting. And the parents themselves weren't much better than nothing. And there are some previous thoughts I've had in reacting to this video that, honestly, I don't know. Because if even the happiest decay ends with manipulation, then that's not growth, that's just more time stalled for delay. That's not change, that's not moving on, that's locking it away until it festers into something you can't ignore. Well, we're now into the second half of the video, and holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Oh, I paused the video on a whim to go, damn. Damn. I had some clever comment and everything, but then it just paused with this. And I feel like that fits the character so well. No. The potential of having someone who can be used as a lovely little excuse for all your own personal problems is a toxic fantasy. And people do love their fantasies. Frustratingly enough. Yeah, that's what it looks like from the outside in. When someone avoids themselves. And that avoidance sets off someone else. Someone simulates themselves as their own defense so well that it becomes impossible to distinguish between reality and the things that they've learned. Sometimes the person themselves doesn't even notice it. Actually, it goes further back. It goes further back to a point you made in your very own video. Where is the part going through? Yeah, this section somewhere.
Andy receiving mediocre marks entirely unfazed. After all, what's the point if it doesn't help Laylee? Laylee, 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 and Laylee. Always Laylee, but never Ashley. Always the cross to bear. Always his project. So when we finally...
And that right there is the whole reason why he dies with a self-satisfied smile on his face in the end. When that suicide route. I'm not saying it's okay, I'm not saying it's good. But I'm saying it started all the way back then. With Andrew getting tied to Ashley because his mother didn't want her own fucking ego to suffer the reality that she was a bad parent. That's the first sense of freedom he's ever felt in his life. This entire section about parentification really summarizes why he was smiling as he left off that windowsill with Ashley. Because he had enough. And in her agreeing to do a suicide pact with him, it fulfilled both of his fantasies at the same time. The full 3/4 of responsibility and this was on you that sits between these two characters stays with these two characters. But there's 1/4 of everything that weighs on the mother that raised them, the environment that raised them. Yeah, no, I can agree with that. Some things really don't change with circumstance. Especially if every circumstance only lets you avoid it, what you actually need to work through. Thank you for making a wonderful video essay. I appreciate it. Now there's a bitter truth and reality that is often shunned by people who look to cling to simplicity and a blind hope that everything's going to be okay. The fact that one of the things that can make people more dangerous is the lack of intention to do things, but still somehow stumbling upon the ability to do them anyways. The capacity. Yeah, and that reality is the same reality that's left me puzzled, because if you want to help someone who's convinced that there are no problems, how do you even get through to them in the first place without damaging and hurting them in the process? How do you do it without causing deeper and further unnecessary pain to someone who's already in the midst of horrible pain? How do you reach the kid that's hiding behind the ego? That's what I don't know. That's what I don't know. I'm glad to see the video getting back around to this point right here. 'Cause it helps me feel like I'm not the only one who saw that parallel, who saw the way it impacted everything. Honestly, some solid questions. Some solid questions. No, there's history, alright. As for why we haven't had something like this before, because previously the scale of the localized systems allowed a false perception of good enough to operate as if it was the best. And so it kept destroying instances where people tried to bring out stuff like this. That's my best bet. Well, there's goes my entire day and what I intended to do. Oh well, it was worth it.